Gigi Banks is becoming the next big thing in women's basketball. There are high school basketball players who are talented. There are high school basketball players who are highly recruited. And then, every once in a while, there is a player who starts crossing over into something bigger. A player whose highlights start showing up everywhere. A player people are sending to their friends. A player whose handle makes you stop scrolling. A player who can drop 27 points, grab 10 rebounds, hand out 9 assists, get 5 steals, and somehow the thing everybody is still talking about is how effortlessly she moves with the basketball. That is where we are right now with 17-year-old Giselle Gigi Banks. Because Gigi Banks is not just becoming one of the best guards in the class of 2027, she is becoming a viral sensation. And if you have watched her recently, it is very easy to understand why. The handles, the change of direction, the scoring ability, the confidence, the court vision, the creativity, and maybe most impressive of all, the amount of control she already plays with at just 17 years old. Banks is a 5-star prospect who currently sits among the very best players in the country. Recruiting services have her ranked around number 4 nationally in the class of 2027 and as the number 1 combo guard in America. And the list of programs coming after her reads like a who's who of women's college basketball. Texas, LSU, South Carolina, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Louisville, North Carolina, NC State. And that is only part of the list. Banks has already accumulated more than 40 scholarship offers, and 4 programs, Texas, LSU, South Carolina, and Ohio State, have separated themselves enough that she has official visits lined up with all 4. But what makes Gigi Banks interesting goes beyond recruiting rankings. This is not just a prospect with hype. This is a guard whose game already has an identity. And today, we need to talk about exactly why Gigi Banks is exploding across social media, what makes her so difficult to guard, how her experience with Team USA is accelerating her development, and which college programs could ultimately land one of the most exciting young players in basketball. Because if you are just now learning the name Gigi Banks, you might want to remember it. This could be only the beginning. The first thing you notice, the handle. Let's start with the obvious. Gigi Banks can handle the basketball. And I do not mean she is simply comfortable dribbling. I mean she manipulates defenders. There is a difference. A lot of young guards can perform crossover combinations in an empty gym. Banks is using those moves against live defenders at speed while reading the floor. That is what makes the highlight clips look different. The ball seems attached to her hand. She can go left, she can go right. She can change speed without losing control. She can hesitate, freeze the defender, then explode. She can use an inside-out dribble, pull the ball back, cross over again, and still remain balanced enough to make the next decision. And balance is the key word. The best ball handlers do not just make defenders move, they remain under control while the defender is off balance. That is what Banks already understands. She does not always need to win with pure speed. Sometimes she slows the possession down. Sometimes she allows the defender to relax. Then, suddenly, she changes gears. And once she gets a defender leaning the wrong direction, the possession is basically over. The viral moves are fun, but underneath all of that flash is something much more important: pace. That is the part college coaches are looking at. Anybody can fall in love with the crossover. Coaches are watching what happens immediately after it. Can she get downhill? Can she make the next pass? Can she punish the help defender? Can she stay composed when a second defender comes? Banks is showing she can. And that is why she is not simply being viewed as an entertaining guard. She is being viewed as one of the best guards in the country. She is more than a highlight reel ball handler. This is where the conversation has to go deeper. If Gigi Banks were only famous because of her dribbling, she would not be getting this level of recruiting attention. The scoring is real. At a recent Overtime Select showcase, Banks turned in a massive performance with 27 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, and 5 steals in a 77-66 victory. That's basically a complete takeover without technically recording a triple-double. 27 points tells you she can score. 10 rebounds tells you she's willing to compete outside her position. 9 assists tells you she is creating offense for everybody else. 5 steals tells you she is active defensively. That stat line says something important. She affects the entire game. And that matters because young guards sometimes become overly focused on scoring, especially when they have a handle like Banks. It would be easy for her to hunt highlights every possession. Instead, some of her most impressive moments come when she forces the defense to react and then makes the simple read. Drive, help comes, kick it out, attack the paint. The big steps up, drop the pass off, get into transition, draw 2 defenders, find the open teammate. That is point guard basketball. And when you combine that with her ability to create her own shot, you start to understand why college programs are fighting so hard to get involved. She is not simply somebody you run plays for. She can become the player who runs the entire offense. The scoring package keeps expanding. Another reason Banks is becoming so difficult to contain is that she can score from different areas of the floor. Her first instinct can be aggressive without becoming reckless. She gets into the paint extremely well. That starts with the handle, but it continues with body control. Banks can attack through tight spaces, adjust her angle, and finish before the defense completely reacts. And for a guard around 5'8" to 5'9", finishing ability is extremely important. You are not just going to shoot over everybody at the next level. You have to become creative. That means floaters, high finishes off the glass, finishing with either hand, using the rim as protection, changing your release point, drawing contact. That's where Banks' creativity shows up. And then there's the jumper. Defenders can't simply back away and dare her to shoot. If they go underneath every screen, she has the confidence to punish the space. If they press up, that opens the driving lane. That is exactly the dilemma you want your lead guard creating. Once the defender feels like there is no correct answer, the offense has the advantage. And what makes Banks especially interesting long-term is that she still has time. She's 17 years old. This is not the finished version. The pull-up can become more consistent. The three-point volume can continue growing. The finishing can become even stronger. The decision-making will become sharper. That should be the scary part. We're watching somebody become elite while she's still figuring out how good she actually can be. Team USA is accelerating her development. Now we have to talk about one of the most important parts of her resume. Team USA. Banks represented the United States at the 2026 FIBA U18 Women's AmeriCup, and she did more than simply make the roster. She became one of the most productive guards in the tournament. Banks averaged 13.8 points, 6.2 assists, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.4 steals while shooting 52.4% from the field. Her 6.2 assists per game ranked 3rd in the event. Think about that. Against international competition, playing within a Team USA structure with other elite prospects, Banks was still able to create at a high level. That tells you something, because international basketball is different. The spacing is different, the physicality can be different, the defensive coverages are different, and most importantly, you are no longer surrounded by teammates who need you to dominate every possession. Everybody can play. Everybody was a star somewhere. So the challenge becomes learning how to impact the game without monopolizing it. Banks passed that test. One of her best performances came against Mexico when she finished with 13 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 5 steals. Against Paraguay, she scored 16 points and handed out 6 assists. In the semifinal against Venezuela, she scored 18. Then, in the championship game against Canada, Banks delivered 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 9 assists as the United States completed its gold medal run. 9 assists in a championship game. That matters, because when the pressure increased, she did not suddenly turn the game into a personal scoring contest. She created, she organized, she trusted teammates, and Team USA won gold. Those experiences are invaluable for a young point guard. She is learning how to play with other stars. She is learning how to adapt. She is learning how to control a game without always taking the shot. And those are exactly the skills she will need in college. Why her game translates to college basketball. A lot of high school players dominate because they're bigger, faster, or more athletic than everybody around them. Then they reach college and those physical advantages shrink. Banks has something that should translate: skill. Her handle is not going away. Her vision is not going away. Her understanding of pace is not going away. Her ability to break down the first line of defense is not going away. Those are portable skills. And because she already has experience playing with other high-level talent through USA Basketball and Elite Showcase events, the transition could be smoother than it is for a lot of young guards. That does not mean it will be easy. College defenses will be stronger, players will be more physical, passing lanes will close faster, coaches will force her into uncomfortable situations. But that is exactly why her next destination matters so much. She needs a program that will allow her to be aggressive while continuing to teach her how to run a championship-level offense. And that brings us to the recruiting battle. The 4 official visits. As of now, 4 programs have earned official visits from Banks: Texas, LSU, Ohio State, South Carolina. Those are 4 very different situations, and every one of them can make a strong pitch. LSU. LSU is one of the most fascinating possibilities. Kim Mulkey has already made her a priority, and LSU has been heavily involved in her recruitment. Banks has also spoken positively about her experience in Baton Rouge, specifically mentioning the support around the program, the atmosphere, and relationships she has begun building there. LSU can sell star power. They can sell exposure. They can sell the idea that a dynamic guard with personality and creativity can become a national name there. For Banks, that could be extremely attractive. Then you have Texas. Texas can offer elite resources, championship expectations, and a program that consistently competes with the best teams in the country. For a player like Banks, the appeal is obvious. Put her in a system with high-level athletes around her and allow her to attack open space. Texas also gives her the opportunity to play in major games almost immediately. If she wants competition every night, that box is checked. If she wants national television exposure, that box is checked too. If she wants to be surrounded by future professional players, that box is checked too. And then there's South Carolina. You cannot discuss elite women's basketball recruiting without talking about South Carolina. The program has become one of the standards in the sport. Development, defense, physicality, depth, championship expectations. If Banks wants to walk into an environment where every practice feels like a high-level game, South Carolina makes a lot of sense. The question would be role. How quickly could she become the primary decision-maker? How would the Gamecocks use her ability to create? And does she want the structure and competition that comes with joining such a loaded program? Those are major questions, but the development opportunity is obvious. Ohio State might not receive the immediate hype as LSU or South Carolina nationally, but it should absolutely be taken seriously. The Buckeyes have built a strong identity around aggressive guard play, defensive pressure, and tempo. That style could fit Banks very well. Imagine her in a system that encourages guards to disrupt opponents defensively, push the pace, and attack before the defense gets organized. That sounds like her game. Ohio State could potentially offer something important in this recruitment, a system that immediately emphasizes what she already does best.
There are other schools to watch. Those 4 official visits are important, but they are not the only programs in communication with Banks. She has also specifically mentioned Notre Dame, Louisville, North Carolina, and NC State among the schools she talks with frequently. And with more than 40 offers, recruiting can always change quickly. That is why I would not treat this as a 4-school race that is already finished. Relationships change, rosters change, coaching situations change, roles change. Sometimes one official visit completely changes how a prospect views a program. Banks still has time, and she should use it, because for a point guard, choosing the right system can affect everything. What she still needs to improve. Now, with all of the hype, we also have to keep this balanced. Gigi Banks is extremely talented, but she is still 17. There are areas that will have to improve. The first is continuing to become more efficient with the basketball. Creative guards naturally take risks. Sometimes those risks create incredible plays. Sometimes they create turnovers. At the U18 AmeriCup, Gigi Banks averaged 3.8 turnovers per game while also producing 6.2 assists. That is not alarming for a young playmaker carrying responsibility, but it shows exactly where the next level of growth exists. Can she maintain the creativity while reducing the mistakes? The second area is shooting consistency. Her ability to score is obvious, but becoming a consistently dangerous three-point shooter will change how defenders are allowed to guard her. If defenders have to pick her up farther from the basket, everything becomes easier. The driving lanes widen. The screen game becomes more dangerous. The passing windows become larger. That is where she can become almost impossible to contain. And the third area is strength. At the college level, defenders are going to bump her. They are going to grab space. They are going to make every drive uncomfortable. The stronger Banks becomes without sacrificing quickness, the more dangerous she will become as a finisher. None of those are reasons to doubt her. They are normal development areas for a young guard, and that is exactly why her ceiling remains so intriguing. Why she is going viral. There is also something about Gigi Banks that numbers cannot completely explain. She has style, and I don't mean fashion, I mean basketball style. There are certain players who make people want to watch. They have rhythm, they have personality in the way they play. The crossover looks different, the celebration looks different, the confidence looks different. Banks has that. When she attacks a defender, you feel like something could happen. That anticipation is why clips spread online. People are not only watching to see whether she scores, they are watching to see how she gets there. And in the social media era, that matters. It doesn't make you a better player by itself, but when the entertainment value matches legitimate elite production, you can become a star very quickly. Banks appears to be entering that territory. So, Gigi Banks is only 17 years old, and already she has become one of the most recognizable young guards in high school basketball. She's a 5-star prospect, one of the top players in the 2027 class, an elite ball handler, a dangerous scorer, a creative passer, a Team USA gold medalist, and one of the most heavily recruited guards in America. The viral highlights are bringing people to the conversation, but the actual basketball is why they should stay. Because underneath the crossovers and flashy finishes is a player developing the tools required to become an elite college point guard. And now comes the next major chapter. Where will she play? Will it be LSU, Texas, South Carolina, Ohio State? Could Notre Dame, Louisville, North Carolina, or NC State make a late push? And whichever program eventually wins this recruitment could be landing more than a great high school player. They could be landing one of the next faces of women's college basketball. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Which school is the best fit for Gigi Banks? Which part of her game impresses you the most? The handles, the scoring, or the playmaking? And how good do you think she can eventually become? If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more basketball commentary. Because if Gigi Banks continues on this trajectory, this definitely will not be the last time we are talking about her. The name is Gigi Banks, and the basketball world is starting to find out exactly why that name matters. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.